And welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Everyday People is proudly brought to you today by the good guys at the 6minutewebinar.com. And forgive me for laughing, but Tamara and I and our guest Susan, we've been having a good time. And so
Definitely.
I tell you, Tamara, so good to have you today and be with you again on this show. And it's just a pleasure hosting this show with you.
I just enjoy our Fridays together. We get to share and meet so many amazing people. So I'm so grateful to spend time. And of course, listen to all your amazing little jokes and sense of humor that you always sprinkle into the conversation. Keeps me smiling.
Thank you for that sense of humor. In reality, ladies and gentlemen, it's probably more like a lack of sense.
Oh no, that's not true.
But we have a lot of fun. But this show here is really about how individuals come on this TV show to share what they do and give back to their community. And especially in this day and time, Tamara, with all the doom and the gloom and people, we were talking with Susan about that backstage, how people are just got an abundance of fear. I mean, fear is just gripping them. And we need to address that, don't we?
Absolutely. People are paralyzed about spending money and investing. You know, it's been a very scary 2020. So I am excited don't forget to take your pen and paper and grab notes because you're going to get some great tips on how to invest today and some strategies about mindset. So I'm super excited to have Susan join us soon.
Oh, yeah. We'll be right back with Susan right after this brief message.
Hi, my name is Michelle Moras, and I had the honor of being on Everyday People with Jim and Tamara, and I had such a blast. They are amazing hosts, and they just truly help talk up what you do as an individual, as a business, as an entrepreneur. And if you get a chance, if you get to be part of this, you really want to be there on their show with them and to share this around the world with your circles because they're real people, inspiring and sharing stories of real people. And it's fabulous to be part of this community. Hope to see you on Everyday People.
Thank you so much to Michelle Moras for doing that commercial for us. And, she's such a sweet, sweet lady. She filled in when another person was sick and not able to be with us on a very short notice. And what she told us? She says, I'll do it under one condition. I said, okay. She says, I'll be on your TV show if you'll be on my TV show in the Philippines. So, how's your Philippine talk there, Tamara? Can you?
They are an amazing culture and a great community of people to tap into. So she is just her story, if you didn't get a chance to watch her video yet or her show, amazing. So don't forget to hop back to that and check it out. She's got an amazing story.
It really is. And I'm so excited about bringing Susan Pilkenton on. I've known her for several years. She was on a previous show and her information was so powerful. Wow. I had to have her back here on the Everyday People show because of what she helps people in their communities, help them go and grow, help them duplicate themselves. She was telling me, Jim, you need to, why'd she put it? I need two heads or three different people or something.
It's time to train an assistant or somebody, an understudy. Two heads are better than one, she said.
And she's such a sweet lady. At least she didn't say, you got to train somebody that's more intelligent and better looking and all those good things than you. Oh, goodness. Susan's she's going to whack me after the show. But hello, Susan. How you doing?
Hi, Jim. Hi, Tamara. You guys are awesome. It's been so much fun being backstage with you. I imagine we're going to have a lot of fun
Absolutely.
the next 30 or 45 minutes.
Yes, super excited to tap into your wisdom and your expertise and, just get to learn more about you and what drives you to do the things you do, of course, is always my question. Yeah. So would you like to share a little bit about yourself, maybe some of the history and how you became passionate about real estate and becoming an investor, becoming proficient at it at this level, which is exciting to hear?
Well, I've been around the real estate game for 20 years. My previous love was dentistry. But as you know, when you're working and you have children and you're commuting, I think I had a 1 hour each way commute. So you can just imagine how stressful that was on the family. And in there was more week past the paycheck, and it was very
So true.
stressful. So, I've been studying and listening. What's the next best thing? What makes money? What gives you more freedom? Because that's really what it's all about, right? You want to spend more time with your kids and your family and that sort of thing. And so I went to a real estate seminar because I heard that, hey, 9 out of 10 people that make money make it in real estate, right? The wealthiest. So I did that, and I invested a lot in education and mentors and that sort of thing. And I did. I jumped right into it. Had a really good mentor, had some success right off the bat. But the challenge was that when inside of that whole entire system, there still wasn't that freedom. There was going to need to be a lot more. I used to ask my students, I used to train flipping house students, and I used to ask my students, well, how many houses do you think you have to flip before you make $1 million?
Oh, that's a great question.
It's a big number.
Yeah.
And if you've ever flipped one, it can be a lot of work. I don't care if you're doing it yourself or if you've got everybody else doing it and you're managing the managers. There's still a lot of work in it, and there's a whole lot of risk. So inside of that whole entire situation, there became, but there's other people out there that are doing it so much better, so much less work, so much more freedom, and so much more safety. What are they doing, and why don't I know about this yet?
Right.
So
right.
Now, keep in mind, I've never been a realtor, so I'm not the one that beat the pavement and drove people around. I've been doing this from the work side, the education side. So, you know where you get those really special people? You start networking. And you never want to be the smartest person in the room, right? So you're always looking for, okay, that guy over there is a little bit smarter. That lady over there, she's a little bit more successful. That person over there, there's a little bit got some knowledge or some base that I don't know. So I really want to put them in my circles. I really want to get to know them and what they're doing and learn from them. And so that's the whole thing about community, again, where you start reaching out to those that have a little bit more knowledge or expertise or something that you don't have. And that's where this whole thing grew. I met my current business partner, and we were in a building. I was a house builder at the time. I was sitting with one of my owners, and one of the gentlemen that came in to visit said some really interesting click phrases, things that I knew were in alignment with wealth building, but with freedom, with safety, and with the network. And I thought, boy, whatever they're doing, I need to get closer to that circle, right? I need to get closer to that community. And you know what's funny? When people are bringing you up, you've heard in the crabs in the bucket. So when everybody's down, they bring you down, right? But what about the ones that are excited to bring you up, give you a hand up? That's what excited me. And the more I learned, the more I could share with my circles and my people and my tribe. And that it becomes I don't know how much you guys have been coached or have coached, but when you see your tribe having these aha moments and the light bulbs are flashing and they're like, oh, that's amazing, you can't wait to do some more of that. So I want to learn more and I want to share it. I want to learn more and I want to share it. And that's what we've been able to do. We've created an entire community of over 9,000 people, and we've put in some of the top wealth building, educated people in the entire world in our circles. And then we share that knowledge with everyone and we bring each other up. And one of the themes is safety and security for our whole group.
Yeah. The thing I really like about what you said on the previous show too was how that just dominoes over in it. It's really a blessing for nonprofits and people that are interested in all. Would you share a little bit about that? Because that was tremendous.
So inside of our wealth building group, we have we have this Dare to Imagine series. Well, what if you could not spend your money? What if you could create it but never spend it? So what if you could have groceries but never spend money on them? What if you need a car, never spend money on it? So your savings is always buying those things for you, right? But your savings never gets smaller and smaller and smaller. It's always buying all of these things. And we have a Dare to Imagine series where we talk about everyone in our community is big into philanthropy. So we talked about, okay, what if my church needs a roof? And you know how it's traditional to go to church and everyone passes the hat around and puts money into the hat or donates, right? But at the
Right.
end of the
Absolutely.
day, that money is gone,
Mhm.
right? They
Right.
take it out of the hat and they write a check to the contractor and they give it to the contractor and the money's gone.
Right.
Well, what if you didn't spend the money? What if you kept it in the hat and the contractor could be paid and the church could get the roof and the money would still be in the hat and the parishioner 3-4 years from there could get all their money back so that they could redonate it again over and over and over and over again. These
Right.
are wealth building techniques that have been they've been in use and practice for hundreds of years. They're just very little known.
Interesting. Huh.
Hmm.
Let that absorb for a minute.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah. I'm s-
fascinating.
I
Give my
heard it.
church $25 a week, but I could
Yeah.
get that back in 3 years and spend it again every 3 years. But they get the new roof, they get the preschool paid for, they get a new driveway, they have more money for the campaigns, and the money is never spent.
You know, Tamara, that's really amazing because you think about nonprofits, because right now, with the fear that people are under, and they
Yes.
come from we're born in a world of survival. You know, we're just kind of like, we got to survive. And it takes a while for, some of us to understand that we should just let go of the fear, let go of living in the physical and focus on loving ourselves and loving others and living in the world of abundance the way we were originally created to live. And what Susan is sharing with us there, can you imagine all of the nonprofits out there who could be able to tune into this and be
Yeah.
able to, not have to worry about, they could focus on what they were created for, their mission.
Yeah. Well, it's almost just like what you're saying is self-sufficient communities that can sustain themselves instead of
Yeah.
always having to go out begging or feeling that, like we were talking about earlier, that lack mentality. Because if
Mm.
there's no lack, what would the world look like if we had less lack? I think there's
Exactly.
some value to the contrast, but
Yeah.
such desperate lack is where I think a lot of us get so focused on the dwelling of the limitations. I can't because, and all these faulty beliefs that we bump into, and it corrodes our mindset. And I know you and I were talking before the show about manifestation and being
Mhm.
able to tap into that abundance. And so I love what you're talking about. It sounds just like tapping into that source of possibility and that creativity and playing with that. So it's very fascinating. I'm very intrigued.
Mhm.
So where do people, like, say if someone's interested in getting involved and learning more about this, what would their first steps be?
Well, we do have a membership, and obviously we give that membership back every 2 years. We give you, it's only like $9 a month or something, so it's just to show that you're a member, right? You're participating. But what it does
Investing in the
is
future.
it makes you be committed to showing up to the mastermind meetings. We have
Mhm.
mastermind meetings every week on Tuesday with our groups, right? And that's where everybody in the group has great ideas. And just like any old-fashioned mastermind, it grows and it grows and it grows. And that's where this Dare to Imagine series that we're coming up with is coming from. The average American, they make $1, right?
Mhm.
Well,
Mhm.
just we did the research. Almost 70% of that goes back out to taxes and mortgages and
That's crazy. No
food.
wonder we
And
can't
then,
get ahead.
yeah, so it's, I
Yeah.
understand why people it's not their fault. They don't know any better. The average, what did I read? The average millennial only has only 20% or even less than that, it was a much lower number, has financial literacy course anywhere in their
Isn't that
college or high
crazy?
school. It's not required. And there's a few schools that require small courses. But if you're in the world and you don't even know what, like, I think I read that 50 some percent of millennials have bounced their checking account at least once. And it's because, obviously there's scarcity. They're not realizing how much money is out of every dollar that they make. And they're not used to that there's a spend down, and that there's taxes, and that there's license and registration and all these things that
Oh, yeah.
and the average emergency, 90% of Americans can't cover the average emergency with what's in their checking account.
Absolutely.
And
Right.
that's scary.
We are a society of instant gratification, and our young ones are definitely more stimulated by that just because of, technology and love Amazon. But, you want it, you order it, you think about paying it later, So
Yeah.
so it is a very instant gratification society that we live in. So you can see why I think, like you're saying, millennials will struggle with this until there's a reality check. I don't think people are educated to invest or plan for the future. I don't feel
No.
we even have those conversations. I think kids, as far as planning for the future, they think of careers, like what job they want. But I mean, I think isn't it true that now kids are living at home till the age of 25?
It's more than that.
I think it is, isn't
The
it?
average age for the adult and this is an old statistic, maybe 2 to 3 years ago, the average age for the adult male child to leave home was over the age of 30. Can you now wait a minute?
I'm
That's
so
average.
proud of myself. My kids are gone to the age of 18, so I was like, woohoo!
Me too. Mine did good too. Yeah, but it's a staggering statistic, and it's getting to be, here's what it's telling us. It's telling us that our traditional system is not working.
Yes.
Millennials are the first generation to not do better than their parents. And so,
but I think don't you think a lot of that's because of the enabling mentality? The accountability.
Well,
you think
about it.
Education, or
there's a lot of things at play here. First of all, if you want to understand how to manage your money, you need to be a complicated economist, or somebody who has all these degrees, right?
Right.
But at the second part, we're trained to do some very typical things that we shouldn't be doing, such as, let's say, for instance, a college kid, they're handed a student loan, and they have never calculated out what that's going to cost them in interest over the life of the loan.
No doubt.
There was an interesting movie out called The Ivory Tower, if you want to look it up. It's about how college kids go into this massive debt. They hand them a credit card. They're not even credit worthy, and they hand them a credit card as soon as they walk in the door, just because they're a student, and say, okay, go spend this wisely. Oh, by the way, you don't even have credit.
Well, even the books alone would kill a credit card. I mean, seriously, these books that they charge for these students, it's insane.
And you know what a college kid is focused on. It certainly isn't their financial future.
Oh, yeah.
Some
are good. I've got some that are really.
We had Dustin Matthews, and I know you guys all know
love
Dustin. Oh, yeah, he's a fantastic guy. And we had him on a radio show, and he says, Jim, when you were in school, did they teach you how to balance a checkbook? And I said, no. He said, that's my point. He says, even back when you were in school. I said, well, man, you make that sound like a long time. I graduated in 1967. He said, that was a long time ago, Jim. But he says,
Dustin
even
wasn't
back
born.
then, Dustin wasn't even born then. We have we have a long proven track record of not educating the youth in the basic principles of how to manage money, numbers. I mean, how many times has parents ever went to the store and a kid wants something, we can't afford it. Well, can't you write a check?
Yeah.
They don't have a concept.
Well, it's really interesting to me to hear you guys talk about this, because my school, they made us take a financial literacy class. We were required. I grew up in Illinois, though. I grew up in Chicago, so maybe that's some of it. My daughter goes here in Arizona. She has to take she has 2 financial classes that she has to
take. It is now being brought forward. The challenge is, who's teaching this financial education, and what specifically are they being taught?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I see
And
that.
that's what my passion is. What are they being taught? Because there is a traditional system out there that is not functioning well today.
Right.
And they're being taught to follow that traditional system. And if I could, share with you something that may be a little unsettling is that that traditional system is putting our elderly in the poorhouse.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
They're now making decisions between buying their medication and
I
paying the
know.
electric bill. And
Mm.
Scary,
that is a
very scary.
staggering statistic right now. I mean, our Social Security, everybody knows our Social Security system is not working well. Our Medicaid system is failing.
Mhm.
Insurance is, up 1,000% or something of that nature. So, things that they never ever thought of. I do time value of money comparison charts where I show how, over a 50-year period, your salary or your income is only raised 600%, but the value of goods that you're buying has gone up 1,100%.
It's 8 or
Oh, yeah.
11.
So the quality of life is now decreasing, plus all these extra additional expenses that people are having to pay. Nothing that our senior citizens ever thought they'd see in their lifetime.
Oh, yeah.
And we're
So
not even talking about joy of life. We're still talking about the basic needs.
survival,
Yeah,
yes.
so it's
Survival.
insane. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Another
Yeah.
thing too that I've often seen is that people who teach subjects, many times they don't have any skin in the game. They're kind of like teaching theories or teaching philosophies
Yes.
or something like that. And so you've got skin in the game. You've
Mm,
got experience there, and you know what it's like to run into a brick wall, and you know what it's like, to, you know,
yeah.
you've experienced those problems, and that's what makes you such a valuable asset and a subject matter expert in those kind
Call
of arenas.
they call that the school hard knocks, Jim.
Oh, yeah,
right.
yeah. I've got
Right.
a degree in that. In fact, I've got a couple of those, I
Well,
think.
what's great about it is that if you enjoy the school of hard knocks, because it's not an enjoyable process, but if you look at it as a learning experience, okay, that was a very expensive education I just got right there.
Yeah,
I
no
can
doubt.
choose to forget it, ignore it, be embarrassed by it,
Minimize
or
it.
I can share it and learn
Yeah,
from it and share what I've done to overcome it, right?
Yes.
And
right.
so I think that's really what the key is, and
I
it's
agree.
it's a very humbling experience.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
It
yeah.
can be.
It's really I can relate to this in my own world. I focus on behavior. So for me, a lot of the things I give back is awareness around behaviors and the way we get reactive and the way we're defensive and how it restricts and we create our own limiting beliefs based on
Right.
those behaviors. And money is just another expression of our emotional behavior. So of course, you and I could go on for days sharing about behaviors and stories.
Right.
But what I'm curious about is have you thought about going off to the colleges and doing even just getting a team with you that goes and teaches as a satellite program or something like that? Because that's something I'm pursuing is behavioral in doing like
Well,
satellite programs.
when my kids were in high school, my kids were pretty diverse in age, so I had about a 10-year span to hit high schools. And I,
Mhm.
I would volunteer to come in because, I was very like, I wanted my kids to bring their friends home and they'd ask me, okay, what do we need to know? And I would volunteer for the school. I'd say, hey, listen, I would love to have a credit education course. The number one thing that kids need to know is what is credit? How do you get it? How do you create it? How do you destroy
Oh,
it?
so true. So true.
All of that, the algorithms and everything that's involved. And of course, they were like, okay, great. What's your degree?
Okay, that's the same. Yeah,
Mhm.
And
yeah.
of course, listen, I'm not a college graduate. I did go to college. I actually was pretty intelligent school, but life got in the way very early, and I didn't go finish college or anything like that. So there was a not an off the grid college education that became really super valuable, and that's where the School of Hard Knocks comes in. My
Mm.
parents were hardworking business owners. There was a divorce involved, so there were a lot of life lessons. Looks like I got a nice bit of sunshine coming in here. There were a lot of great life lessons to add to that,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and that are super. It added to the challenge, which added to the education,
Mm.
and
Absolutely. Yeah.
it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And so that's why I'm such a big community advocate, because it's not just me. Everybody in the community has had that some type of challenge that they can share with us.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
One of the things that really surprises me, and it never ceases to amaze me, is that when you get in one of these masterminds, a person that might be in there that you might think might be the lowest one on the totem pole and as far as being a subject matter expert, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, if you put me in some classes, I'd definitely be at the bottom of I'd be at the root of the totem pole. But all of a sudden, boom, they come up with something. And it was kind of like, wow, that happened to us recently with me and Don McGrath. We're putting on a class. And of course, Don, the way he is he's just an engineer and he makes everything perfect. And we're all sitting in there and we're going over this and going over that. And this one lady says, that doesn't make sense. Says, why don't you change it to this? And we go, wow, I mean, that's the power of the mastermind. Everybody is able to contribute. And sometimes the ones who are you least expect, they come up with the brightest light. That's the thing that amazes me. And it's electrifying, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I get the biggest charge out of when our group gets together and someone tells a story about the light bulb going off or something that changed significantly in their life that made a huge impact. I mean, I could tell you story after story after story of real life people in our community that have had huge just change of lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
significant things that um, brings a tear to your eye, really. And
Mhm.
you're really proud of the idea that you can have that inside of your groups, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
At the end of your life, at the end of your days, when you're looking at what's on your tombstone, what do you want to be known for? That you were able to contribute and give back in a very specific way to people that you care about.
And it really means a lot when you see someone that goes from that transition from living in fear
Mm,
and worry, and then all of a sudden, boom, they're freed from the shackles of that. And
right.
then they become excited and they really want to share the freedom and the love that they've received now with others. That's when life becomes a lifestyle, life becomes living, and life becomes fun.
Well, that
And
goes back to your
oh,
abundance.
it sure does. And it's amazing when you help others how it just comes back on you tenfold. And I mean, that's why we're here. That's what this show's about. And goodness, it just floors me when I see that. Just kind of like, wow, that's just extra special. Because when you experience something like that, the joy and the jubilee that you get in your heart, that is something that no matter how much money is on planet Earth, it can never buy because
Mm.
it's so precious. It's not for sale.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Well, I'm having an abundance of sunshine here, so forgive me. I was going to move
Yeah.
just slightly, if that's okay with you.
You guys are
That,
Um,
perfect.
that's fine. Don't worry about that. I
so,
tell you, it's really amazing. I mentioned Dustin Matthews earlier, and Dustin made a video for our sponsor, the 6-minute webinar. We'll be right back right after this brief message.
A whole new level of clarity. That's what I received when I implemented the 6-minute webinar. Look, there's no shortage of things that you could be doing to grow your business, to grow your audience, to get your message out there. It's quite dizzying. However, when you get the perfect message in front of the right people, it has an amazing ability to get those folks into action. And so much that is out there distracts us from getting back to that message and finding that right person. With the 6-minute webinar, you can absolutely do that. Hi, my name is Dustin Matthews. I recently implemented the 6-minute webinar in my business and have seen amazing results. And I've gotten a whole new level of clarity. I highly, highly recommend you implement it in your business.
And we're back. Dustin, he looks like he gets younger every year. I don't know what it is about that guy. I asked him, I said, what are you eating, brother? It's got to be something in the food. Because I mean, yeah, I tell you, it's he doesn't look his age, does he?
he's a wonderful guy. And you
Oh,
know what? It's just be that good, beautiful heart shining out that keeps him
mm.
so young.
It really does. I mean, he's one of the kindest people I know, very low key, very soft spoken. And he did the video and he says, there's a light shining down on me and a fan in the background. Is that okay? I said, yeah, because it's us. We're everyday people. We're not, we don't want to pretend to be something we're not. I mean, I could pretend that I'm good looking. And everybody would say, only when you cut the lights out, right?
Oh, come on, Jim. Come on.
I'm just teasing. At least I hope so.
That's great. You know what? It's so much fun that we get together with a group of people and we can just poke fun at each other and have that laid back relationship that just brings a smile.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So, what is your favorite part about what you get to do? You said earlier about aha moments, and I actually want you to share your motto. I love your motto. So, if you'd mind sharing that, that'd be great.
Well, it's just for the asking. Creating your dream lifestyle is for the asking. You can get it anytime you choose. It's unfortunate that we live in a lifestyle or a world that people are being told to sit down, shut up. You're not capable. You can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very unfortunate, and there's not enough good positive messages out in the world, which is why I was really excited to be on the show, because I know that that's your motto. You want to bring good positive messages, and it's just for the asking.
Oh yeah.
But ask consistently and ask specifically. Because you can get anything you ask for if you keep asking for it. So I have a funny example. I manifested something one time. I was into the vision board thing, and they're very powerful. I put a lot of time into it, and then I set it to the side, just like you do with a lot of other things that you do. And I hung it on the side of a refrigerator. And what it was my dream kitchen, right? And I was very specific. I cut out pictures and I, wrote down, and there were special things. But I hung it on the side of my refrigerator and I didn't focus on it. I saw it occasionally, but you know how that goes. Well, about, 6 years later, I was walking through my kitchen. You know how you change your refrigerator? And I pulled that picture off to move it to the new refrigerator. And I went, oh, I have that identical kitchen right now. So the only challenge, I should have asked for it 3 to 4 years earlier.
That's right. That's so funny. Yeah.
But it was identical.
That's so cool. That is so cool. So you obviously believe in manifestation. So give me a quick definition of how you describe manifestation.
Well, there's a difference between going, I want more money, I want more money, I want more money, I want more money. And I walk over and I hand you $1 bill and now you have more money. That's different.
Exactly.
Manifestation is something that you dwell upon, that you pray upon, that you really put a lot of thought and detail into. And it's something that, it's not a stingy thing, but let's talk about money, for instance. People go, oh, those rich people, they're not good or whatever. No, that's not true. Yes. It's what's inside your heart. So if you're a wealthy individual and you have beautiful things in your heart, beautiful things are going to come out. And if you are a wealthy person and you have larceny in your heart, those nasty things will start to come out. So squeeze a lemon, what's inside. So manifestation is just, I want the ability to give my family more. I want to be able to share knowledge and freedom with my children and my grandchildren. And I want to do that to my grandchildren's grandchildren, if that makes sense. I want to share those things. And that's what that is getting very specific. So let's draw out a plan. What am I doing today that's taking me closer to that goal? And every day you look in the mirror and you ask that question, did I do that one thing that took me closer, or did I do something else? Did I get off focus?
Right.
And
yeah, the way I talk about manifesting is like what you were just saying, the focus. Where is your focus? Because what you're focusing on is exactly what you're going to pull in. And whether you want positive or negative things to happen, that manifesting is that direct intention, and that's what you pull in. So
exactly.
And if you're focusing on the lack and having no money and feeling the frustration, you're focusing on manifesting more lack, unfortunately. So you get distracted, you get derailed, you get overwhelmed by it, and that thinking.
Yeah.
I love that stinking thinking. That's funny.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's one of those Zig Ziglar things, and a checkup from the neck up was another one of his favorite sayings.
Yeah,
That's
that's
kind of
true.
like your mind is kind of like a garden. You can plant weeds, or you can plant briars, or you can plant roses. It grow the same because it doesn't know the difference. It's just there to produce what it is that you want, and that's what attracts it when you're got a negative mindset and you're focused on the worst things happening. That's what's going to be attracted to you.
Mhm.
And
That's very true.
I've known people in my life that growing up in Shelby, North Carolina, uh, people that didn't have much money, but yet inside they were very, very rich. They gave, and you could just see the light in their eye,
Mhm.
the joy and the jubilee. And oh my goodness, I've known a few people that's they're well to do, let's say, but they're out of balance with themselves. They're not happy. There's very little love in their life. Their focus is
Mhm.
on the wrong thing, and they don't realize how they're enslaving themselves and robbing themselves of the true riches of life. Because the more you give, the more you get. One
Mhm.
thing I've learned in life took me about 55 years to learn it, but you can never outgive the master giver.
Mhm.
You just can't, because the more you give and the more an abundance that you willing to share with others, it comes back to you. If you try to hang on to it, well, it just dries up.
I,
Mhm.
don't they refer to it as karma debt? The more you give, the more
Mhm.
you receive, the more you take, the more you get taken from. It's
Yeah.
Mhm.
karma debt, universal energy.
Mhm.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I don't want to get too disconnected from the physical world, but it really is what you manifest. Again, we're back to
Focus
energy
and
flows
attention.
through your body. And so whatever
Mhm.
type of energy you put out into the world, you're a magnet. You either attract that negative or that positive. And that's what we are. We're just a sum total result of everything that we've decided to be.
Mhm.
And if you look in the
Absolutely.
mirror and you don't like what you see, then you can look in the mirror and say, okay, self,
What
what
do I
would you
want
like
to
to do
see?
today?
Yeah.
Yeah, what would I like to have?
Yeah.
It's so what is some of the things that you've seen over the years of being in this business? What is your favorite thing that you just like that gets you going every day, that makes you feel so inspired to continue moving forward with this? What is it that drives you?
Well, money is energy, right? It's
Mhm.
just a tool, but
Absolutely.
it's a great tool if you know how to use it properly. It's a great tool to take you into your power, your superpower.
Absolutely.
And it also can help your friends, your family, your community, and the giving back aspect, which is one of our superpowers if you love to give. We've had people that, gosh, they couldn't get into, like, for instance, a lady in our group, she lost her husband, and so therefore she lost most of his pension, and she was looking at, do I have to move out of my home and move into a facility and decrease the quality of my life? I can no longer afford the in-home care that I need, or the extra medications or whatever. Well,
Mhm.
we were able to show her how to change the way she had her traditional system and go back into the community and make that possible all over again. She now stays in
Wow.
her home. Like, for instance, my mother, she lived on Social Security. It was very meager, like under 1,000, well under $1,000 a month. Now, what kind of
Mm.
lifestyle is that? You know,
Mhm.
she could either live off of people, off of the system, or live like a pauper, hand to mouth, not taking medication, not going to the doctor, not having eyeglasses, and things of that nature. Or what we did was we helped her change her situation, identify some sleepy assets that she didn't even identify herself, and reposition them into a place where we almost doubled her income. Well, that gives her a quality of life again. And
Right.
Mhm.
you think about that, if you could do that for a person that you don't even know, but that is in your group that you care about, or a close family member,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
you could help them reposition. What if you had for instance, we have a college situation where we can show people how to put their kids through college but not spend their money.
Hmm.
Mm.
Well, what happens to that college education money?
Yeah.
Could that further their first home buying situation? Could
Oh,
that
yeah.
be handed down to the first child that's born? Could that those things are possible.
Mhm.
Everything is possible. I didn't say it was easy. I said there's a learning curve and that there were some changes of thought process, but
Sure.
once it's possible, would you
Mhm.
want to hear about it?
Yeah.
That's my favorite
Mm.
thing, is just getting people the light bulbs to go off like, wow, this is
Yeah.
possible. This is an and world. I can have what I need and what I want.
Mhm. The thing I like about what you're saying there, and Tamara, this is my way of explaining it. You teach people how to get a helping hand up, and that's a lot different than a handout. Because in a handout, they'll always be in need, and they cannot they cannot go and grow because
Mm-mm.
they're
A
dependent.
good old fashioned story about teach a man to fish versus giving him a fish. It's
Right.
that,
Yes.
how do you enable
Mhm.
people to do good by themselves so they can
Oh,
be
yeah.
self-sufficient? I love what you're saying.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Powerful.
We're a group of fishermen, if you like. That's really good. We we love what it is that we can teach our groups, and we say if you've got family members that you want to bring in, so it just becomes a matter of sharing the knowledge and sharing what you can do. And so then therefore people are, when they have more of this tool, money, the tool, and you could have I used to do a lot of construction, so I always go, okay, they got these really 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 great screw guns out on the market, right? These really
Mhm.
fancy ones, and they do all this stuff. They have these buttons and these different batteries and these different fixtures you could, but if you don't know how to use that, why would you even have that tool?
Right.
Mhm.
How does you no good? Right.
But what if you knew how to use it? You could be faster. You could build your business faster. Your hands are going to be less tired. You're going to be able to be more efficient. And
Mhm.
that's really what we do, is we're teaching people how to be more efficient with what they already have, and the new stuff that comes in, we show them how to never use it poorly. We show them how to position it fairly and well with a lot of safety, and make it right. Think about it. The average little kid, they get money from everybody for their birthday, right? What do they want to do?
Buy video
Spend it.
games.
Spend it.
Spend it, or grandma buys a government bond or savings bond or something with it, or it goes into a savings account and it gets 0.01% interest, which is below the inflation rate. So they think they really want to help the kid. Grandma's really wanting to give the child money, but she doesn't understand money, so she's giving them in a way that is not going to grow for them. But what if grandma put it back someplace where it could get 7, 10, and stay there, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing. By the time the child's in college, they already have a college fund.
Mhm.
Now, what does that do?
Freedom. Free education. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just one tiny example.
Mhm.
And then we can also show them how they could spend it, but not spend it and get their money back. And it's just a big circle. We could talk
That's
about this
so
for
cool.
hours.
Mm.
We
So
could talk.
fabulous.
So when people want to get in touch with you, it's Susan's email is wealth code consultants with an S at gmail.com,
Yes.
and your website, wealthcodeconsultants.com. When they go to to your website there, what would they see? What would they?
Well, we are a private group.
Mhm.
And, what we want to do is we want to make sure we get like-minded individuals in our group. And so we
Mhm.
kind of vet people out. We ask them to have a phone call or just a quick little interview to see if you're of like-mindedness to join our group. Like I said,
Mhm.
it's like $9 a month. You spend more on coffee, most people. But
Yeah.
what that is that tells us that you're serious, and
Mhm.
that we have a conversation. What's your situation? What do you want to accomplish? Why would you
Mhm.
want to join our group? And they give us their information, and then of course they it's a name, a phone number, and an email address, and I'll reach out and say hello to you. And if it works out and we want to be friends, we connect. And if you don't, good luck. I hope you,
Yeah.
I hope you find what you're looking for. But it's
Mhm.
I always encourage people to come in. I
Mhm.
kind of sometimes sponsor people to come in to join our mastermind, the very first mastermind,
Mhm.
because I want them to see what's there.
Mhm.
The topic of conversation and
Mhm.
how everyone in the group interacts. And it's very
Mhm.
laid back. It's very, everyone, it just kind of gets to be friends, and it's open forum. We can all speak to one another. It's not like I'm going to get in there and tell you what to think and do. No, I'm not here to do that. I just, this is something, it's working for other people. If you want to be a part of it, you come on in and join us.
Sure.
And
I like the fact that you at least charge $9 a month because, Tamara, as you and I know, if it's free, people have that mindset. If it's free, how good can it be?
yeah.
And it doesn't have any value to it. So they would not be able to benefit and take full advantage of that. And I
Mhm.
imagine inside your group, I haven't asked you this, but I imagine inside your group, you may have people that have interest here and people group that have an interest there and so on and so forth. And that way people could migrate to the like-minded people within that group. Would that be accurate?
Well, so far our groups have stayed into one big
Happy?
bubble, and then we've had a few break off groups that
Hmm.
have had special interests. So there's a
Hmm.
lot of topics about money, a lot of different types of things out there that they want to talk about, how it works. We just recently did the history of money series, which is how, the money's been, who's had it, where it comes from, how it's controlled, what's the
Fun.
value of a dollar, going back like hundreds of years.
Wow.
And, what's funny is, folks, history repeats itself.
Yes, it does.
Absolutely. Aren't we?
Yeah.
So that's why we did the history of money series just this month,
Mm.
because we're about doing another cycle. And those that are in the know, if you ever listen to our good friend Robert Kiyosaki, he talks
Mm.
about his rich dad, right? And his rich dad taught him what the traditional people weren't thinking, never have a job and all these other things. And it's the same type of situation. We're teaching people, what does money do? How does it
Mhm.
really work? Who's pulling the strings? What does that have to do with history?
Yeah.
And it's been a great series. We've had a lot of people interested, and of course we share it with our entire group.
Mhm.
That's really cool.
Mhm.
It really is. I really like that because a lot of people feel that, when we've been so brainwashed that if someone would walk up, or if a young man walked up or young girl walked up to an adult and says, what would be the best advice from you for me to be successful in life? And just like a human parrot, many times that person would say, go to school, get a good education, get a good job, and be set for life. Name one place on planet Earth where that would even float. Name
Yeah.
one place it won't. But see, they
Mhm.
don't know what else to say
Yeah.
because we've
Well,
been so programmed and dumbed down. And that's like folks think about, well, prices are going up. Well, it's inflation is not prices going up. It's the value of the dollar, the buying power of the dollar coming down on the
mhm,
world market.
mhm,
And I tell people when I was in Vietnam in 1969, 70, it was illegal for us to carry the greenback dollar on our person because of the black market. And then
wow.
and then in 1971, when President Nixon took us off the silver standard, that's when the buying power of the U.S. dollar on the world market just went down and down and down and down. But yeah, I
Mhm,
mean, they were so serious about that. If you had U.S. dollars on your person, other than MPC, the military payment certificate, the little funny money we used to call it,
mhm,
monopoly money. Um, if they caught you on it, caught it on your person, that was punishable by Article 15, which is a pretty, it's a
severe.
pretty serious charge. Yeah, I mean they weren't playing around with you. I mean they took, they let you know when they took the slack out of the chain on that deal. They didn't pull it; they yanked it. Because they were that serious. Because, like I said,
Yes.
on the black market, the greenback dollar was worth a lot of money.
Mhm,
I mean, it was more. His face value was 5 or 10 times more. Depending on how
mhm.
bad they wanted it. But yeah.
Well, historically, uh, Lincoln put the greenbacks into circulation. There's a
Mm.
whole story behind that.
Mm.
So it had to do with the Civil War, but that's
Yeah.
another story for another day.
For another
um,
show, right?
yeah, right. And there's a whole big history behind that, and it is really important to know where we came from, so we know
Right.
where we're going to be going. And
Mhm.
that's why we really highly encourage people to get educated, because knowledge is power, right?
Mm.
And when you put knowledgeable people together, and then you get groups of knowledgeable people together, and we're all pulling each other up to the next level, on the next level, on the next level, it just gets more and more powerful, right? And again, this is what I was sharing with you, Jim. 2 heads are better than one, 4 heads are better than two, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And
Mhm.
when you get into 9,000 people that are all like-minded and all single-minded towards a goal, you can really get some synergy together, especially when you start talking about, wealth building and financials, and having a better lifestyle and quality of life. It just gets remarkable.
Mm.
I don't do anything. I just kind of sit back and smile and think, wow, what a great place to be,
Mhm. Yeah.
because we have such a good group.
Mm. Tamara, it's amazing. We have Susan on here and all the great information she has shared with us. When we had on the first show, you were on there for 25 minutes. I'm going like, oh my goodness gracious, this lady is, I mean, we could do a whole quarter of Fridays with this lady because of what she brings to the party. And I know there's people out there, Tamara, that their
Good.
eyes have been opened and they're going like, wow, there is a future, there is a tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And that's such a blessing, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just
Well,
your
and
wisdom and helping people really understand like some of their choices is going to be huge, helping them
Mm.
understand it.
there is safety. I don't think people understand that there's safety out there.
Mm.
Today we're traditionally taught that, well, the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. Well, what if I were to challenge you on that statement? What if we could show you another way? What if I could show you something that was very safe, and you didn't have to know everything about everything about everything and about everything to get that safety,
Mm.
but it would make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Would you want to know more about it? And would you, if it made sense to you, want to try it out for yourself and your family?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mhm.
where it's at. And it's just a different way of thinking. Listen, there is an elite class of wealthy people out there, and they aren't doing what everyone else is doing. And whether you call it the top 10% or the top 1%, doesn't matter. Well, that's what our community does. We teach those little known strategies, and we share those to our community so they can implement it themselves. Pretty simple
Wow.
concept.
Such a gift,
Yeah.
such a blessing. Yeah.
It really is because, I mean, and that's for just the average person to coming in. They don't have to be, rich
Well,
or they
we
could, I mean,
We do have some lots of big dogs that come in,
oh, yeah.
lots of
Yeah.
people with massive wealth want to come in, but we do, yes, that we make the biggest impact with the people that need it the most.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Because when you're in a situation like that, the impact of what you're saying, it really affects them instantaneously. They see
Mhm.
it because they're so anemic financially and they've
Mhm.
been hurting so long. And I think being under financial stress is one of the most difficult things to have to deal with day in and day out,
Right.
especially with your kids and, especially when you got more a month and you got money left. I mean, that just kind of drags a person down. I mean, it
Yeah.
just robs them of their health, robs them of their energy, it robs them of life and living. My goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's one last quick example. My uncle fell out of a tree and broke his back in
Mm.
September, and he's a paraplegic now. And his very first month, just one month in the hospital, they started calling for $300,000. Just 1 month, and he's been in there
Holy
since
cow.
September.
Wow.
So that's a devastate. I mean, you're talking millions of dollars in health care and insurance billings and all sorts of
Mhm.
things. I know that I'm not worried. I know we're going to handle this thing really well with him. He's going to have a very good quality of life. There's just so many things because I know that I have the power behind me of all these wonderful people in the community, and we're going to come up with a great solution that's going to work for him.
Wow. How old is your uncle, if you don't mind me asking?
He's 72.
72. Mm.
Yeah.
Oh my
A
goodness.
very
That's,
healthy
Doing his
72. as a roof elf.
yeah. Like I came off the roof a little faster than I wanted to here recently. And,
Yes,
yeah, fortunately, I,
stressed me out.
yeah. And
It'll
that's
do it.
very blessed. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I've learned about when you fall like that, if you fall that's not, graceful, your landing is going to be ugly and it's going to hurt.
Yeah. Well, he probably had a very ugly landing because it's going to affect him now for the rest of his life.
Susan, we just got a message from
sorry.
Kathy Davis. This is great information. She looks forward to connecting with you. And
Fantastic.
thank you, Kathy. And I'll tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, Susan, I've known for several years. The thing that impresses me about her is that everything that she says and everything she does, and I can say the same thing about Tamara, they live that. That's who they are. They just demonstrate it in their daily life. And they're my kind of people. And that's I tease them, sometimes. What I really like about them is that they really like me. I mean, that's kind of hard not to like.
You're a lovable guy, Jim.
Oh,
You
thank you.
are.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that Southern accent, woo,
Oh.
loving it.
I know, right?
Now I'm going to blush. But really,
Makes my
it's
day.
to the ladies and gentlemen out there, Susan is the type of person that she can deliver exactly what she says. She's not some abracadabra pie in the sky, dream person. And because Tamara and I, we're very much concerned about the show, we owe that to you to make sure everyone we bring on here is a top-notch quality person who cares about you. And Susan is that kind of a person. And you got her email there, wealthcodeconsultants at gmail.com. I've got my readers in the bottom, so if I got to tilt my head back, that's why.
We had that whole conversation, didn't we, before the show?
Yeah. And be sure and reach out to her because our time is almost gone. We got about a minute and a half left. Is that okay? And Susan, if there's something else you'd like to share with the folks, please do.
Well, I'm humbled by the fact that you said I deliver, but it's really not me. It's the powerful, wonderful people that we have in our group, in our community, and I just love the fact that people are reaching out and they're knowing and in the bottom of their heart that there's a better way, there's a safer way, and I just really want to be able to share that with people and just help everyone bring each other up to the highest levels.
Mm-hmm. And this show goes all over the world. Like I told you before, we had the gentleman in Pakistan contact me, said he watches us on TV there in Pakistan. And your organizations, some of the principles, is that the same all over the world?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. I thought so, but I want to make that clear.
Mm-hmm.
And Tamara, I tell you, having Susan on today has just really been a blessing. I know you were very excited before the show. I saw that.
Mm-hmm. I really love her topic. I love helping people recognize the gifts of once you unlock that limiting belief, how much potential is on the other side. So I really get Susan's passion, and I love her inspirational view on things. So thank you so much for bringing that here and sharing your wisdom and your enthusiasm for supporting others who believe that they're stuck and giving them an opportunity to do something different with it. So thank you so much.
I really, really am humbled by the fact that you guys thought so much to bring me on, and I'm very, very pleased and excited to be able to share. And anytime you guys need anything, of course, just reach out.
You're awesome.
And also, too, Susan, thank you for the opportunity to allow me and connect you with Kathy Davis, because she is a top-notch lady. She's just a sweet lady. Every time we get on the phone, we talk at least 55, 58 minutes or something like that.
Nice.
And it's like I told her today about Tamara Hunter. Tamara's the friend she hadn't met yet, and that's true. And I can say the same thing to you about Kathy. And I look forward to, all of us, getting to know her more and working with them. And it's just a blessing. And that's what makes the world turn. If you're out there and you're by yourself and you feel like you're struggling, the last thing you need to do is try to listen to someone that's wanting to pitch you something or sell you something. There are people out there like Susan and Tamara and myself. We want to connect with you. We want to help you and give you some, introduce you where you need to be introduced, because we know a lot of people
Yeah.
who are interested and got your back. That's who we are. And that's why we have the honor and privilege of being here. Ladies and gentlemen, our time is gone. Susan, thank you again. Tamara, it's always good for you to have you on the show. I mean, you host it with me. And, ladies and gentlemen, for her to put up with me week in and week out, I mean,
It's
this
a tough job.
gets me right here in your heart. We have
That's
a lot
funny.
and
That's
thank
funny.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you, we got to have fun. But
That's right.
it's a wonderful pleasure for us to be here and to be, you watching the show, whether it's at home or on your cell phone, wherever it might be. Thank you so much. And we hope you have a wonderful and a blessed weekend. Remember now, love yourself first and you can love others. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.